Well, a number of women's groups pushing for legislation to change to criminalize marital rape. This as government continues consultation on the proposed changes. Leah Cooper has more on this.
The Bahamas isn't a theocracy. These are the words of Alicia Wallace, director of Equality Bahamas. She's responding to outrage voiced by church leaders as government seeks to amend law and criminalize marital rape. Some religious leaders stating plainly that a husband and wife cannot rape one another. Some even going as far to say that either party has no right to decline sexual intercourse with each other.
If you roll over in the night and touch your wife, that should not be that should not be criminalized. And the same thing, what happens if she touch you?
I mean, if you want her to, then it's not a crime.
Right. But who's to say it's not a crime? We lock up in the bedroom together.
What if she says no?
She ain't got the right to say no. You swear for better or worse. You swear for better or worse. It's the oath you take before God. You know how the thing go. Better, worse, richer for poor, or poor, and sickness and health. You can't rape your wife.
And to that, Wallace says this.
And the Constitution of the Bahamas in Article 15 lays out rights and freedoms that include religion, and that includes the freedom to not have a religion. And we need to make a distinction between personal beliefs and governance. Our rights are not subject to religious doctrine. We are free and equal in rights and dignity under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Bodily autonomy is not debatable. Women's rights are not debatable. That rape is violence is not debatable. That women are human beings is not debatable. So the government has made commitments to people through its adoption and ratification of various international mechanisms, including CEDAW and the Sustainable Development Goals, also known as the SDGs. And for religious leaders to spew this very rapey rhetoric is very dangerous.
She adds that marriage nor Christianity make a person exceptional or allow them to function outside of the law.
Marriage is legal. That's why we have to go to the government to get a license to get married. It's not owned by any religion. And while individuals and couples can design their relationships in any way they want, we need the law to protect people who do care about their own rights, who do want to be able to assert their rights in a legal space. These people who believe that they are consenting regardless, they're not going to be forced to use this law. But the rest of us need it. We need to know that women are going to be protected. We need to understand that consent is real, consent is required for sex to take place, and where there is no consent, it is rape. It doesn't matter what your relationship is.
She's also calling on what she calls right-minded religious leaders to speak out.
I'm calling on them to step up and to drown out the voices of these very dangerous people who seem to be rapists themselves, because they are saying that these are the things that they're doing to their wives and that they think it's okay. It's not okay, and we need the law to protect us, and then we need people who are right-minded to step up, to speak up. It's not okay to be silent anymore. The silent are complicit with this absolute nonsense.
Marriage and family therapist Barrington Brennan adds that the belief that one cannot rape their spouse comes from a place where women are believed to be inferior.
It is a matter of power over rather than power with a woman. It's ironical, it's mythical rather, to say that a husband cannot rape his wife, but he can kill her. And we have men in jail for killing their wife, or vice versa, women in jail for killing their husbands. So what is so particular about sex? When we do have strangers, acquaintances, rape each other, so what prevents? There's nothing that says the husband that cannot be charged for raping his wife. Nothing in scripture, nothing in moral standing.
He also gives his interpretation of scripture in this regard.
So this is the reason one of the reasons the Apostle Paul stated in 1 Corinthians 7:14, the wife does not have authority over her own body, but yields it to her husband. In the same way, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but yields it to his wife. Now, I want you to listen carefully. At that time, the beginning of the Christian church, the men were being taught this: the wife does not have authority over her own body, but yields it to her husband. Full stop. That is what they were taught. But Paul messed up their minds. Unfortunately, that has still continued throughout the centuries, where a woman is of no value. She could be used by a man. He is for his pleasure, and not he is for her pleasure.
Church leaders, domestic violence victims, social workers, and parliamentarians met under one roof yesterday to share stories and views of the matter. Social Services Minister Obi Wilshcombe told reporters at the time that another session was needed in order to get a full scope of how to move forward with the amendment, adding that he's hoping to make some headway by February or March next year before Attorney General Ryan Pinder addresses the United Nations. Leah Cooper, Eyewitness News.